So I thought I'd show you the shoebox. I've sort of put all my mainly electronics in. So here's the power supply, 24 volts output. Notice I do have a piece of cardboard here. It goes over the top. I mean, this does have a plastic plate over the top of this power supply. Anyway, but let's just make sure. And I have just been working on this a bit more. Now I found that this is like 24 volt to 12 volt step down buck converter. It's basically for a car. There's two chips in here, and basically these chips bolt onto the like aluminium case in here. But I found that this gets quite hot, well, very hot actually. Been surprised it's survived. I think these are meant to be bolted onto a car's chassis. These are basically for cars to knock down 24 to 12 volts, and I think, if I remember right, it's a 30 amp and a 0.5 amp output. The 30 amp output I have going to the RAMPS, and the 0.5 I have going to all my LEDs. 24 volts comes out of there, goes to, this is a solid state relay on a Pentium heatsink. I can't remember what type of Pentium heatsink that is actually. No fan on that, but there is a fan here, 12 volt fan. So that is also coming from the step down converter. That's blown in a way through the fins. This bores down into the cardboard box down here in this position. I'll put, well, I'm going to show you a bit more about this just now. Here's my ramps over here. I don't want to move the wires too much because these wires can be a bit iffy on these plugs. I've known these plugs, even the slightest touch on it, it's like they lose connection, and then it's not getting a thermostatic reading and such like, or the steppers aren't working. And so even with that fan that blows to a large extent through the fins on this heatsink of this Pentium that this is on, this doesn't get really all that warm. Neither does the power supply. It's this that gets a lot hotter. So what I've done, let's see if I can dig it out, this is like the lid here. So I drilled a hole in with like a step, one of these step bits. Very good, those step bits, for thin metal, thinnish metal. I mean, it'll do thicker than this, and they're very good, very quick at drilling holes. And I put a, I think that's a 25mm fan, which connects underneath to the 12 volt output, the 0.5 amp side. So those two wires there go to the outside. I've moved these balls so that the heads are on the inside, and I've put some of these like chip heat sinks onto the balls because these have threads on, bit of heat paste there, as you see, and there's some extra holes drilled in to the end of this original thing, and on the sides, that's to let the air out from this little fan. Now, does that help keep it cool? Well, it's certainly going to help, but even with all that on, I think it's still going to get pretty hottish. But surely that's better than having nothing on at all. So that's, I've rewired this obviously a bit, so more direct wiring on some of the wires. So I'm just going to put this lid back on. It's just basically 4 like Phillips balls, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Make sure these wires go into like the cutouts. There's 2 cutouts on this side as well, and make sure that this sort of sleeve and black sleeving is going on that cutout, so that's not digging the edge of this aluminium framing is not digging into the wires. So I'll put that back together. I'll bolt it back to here. I just wanted to try and show you the setup. If you hear any screeching, that's my grandson. He's round at the moment and he carries on a bit, but that's okay, he's just mucking about. Okay, so I have, this is like from the 12.5 and that's going to a terminal strip, and that's going to, as I say, LEDs on the printer. Goes to the fan for the hot end, goes to this fan over here. That's another computer fan, just blowing, as I say, blowing air across here and to a certain extent out through the hole. Now under here I do have this on, like some cardboard squares super glued on, and lots of holes in the bottom to let air out or in. Okay. And obviously a square hole in the front for, well, rectangular hole for the LCD. I did also fit this LED, which I had gone through some resistors and series, going to the power supply, so when the power's sort of plugged in or turned on, this LED here will light. It's hard not to realise that it is on, because it does make a bit of noise, not a massive amount, but a bit of noise with the fans. Trying to show you. So the camera shooting here. This is handheld video. Right, I'll get that top put on that and I'll show you that. I almost forgot to tell you, I did put an extra capacitor in here. That's connected to the 0.5. Because sometimes I think you get a bit of the flicker from the PWM of the RAMPS, believe it or not. Like a feedback of the signal from the RAMPS is affecting the power, and sometimes you get a bit of a flicker. And I think this capacitor that I fitted does help a bit. Quite a high voltage capacitor, 100 odd degrees. Just, I think it's 22 microfarads or something like that. Okay, right, we'll get the top put back on now. Okay, I've bolted it back in. It was quite awkward to bolt it back in the nut, even though it was super glued on, etc, etc. It still kept coming off, so I put it like so that the bolt head is up and the nut is underneath. That was a little bit easier, but it's extremely difficult to get in at that sort of bolt head under there. Okay, I'll switch it on now. I'll have to take the camera away, but I'll bring the camera back and I'll get plugged in. Not really switch it on, it's more plugging it in so you can see and hear the fans going. So it might be hard to see actually the fans. It might sound louder than it really is on this camera. So I've got this fan here blowing air in, as I say, over here. And these couple extra heat sinks, hopefully that will help keep it a bit cooler, this unit. And this fan on here, I'll just stop that a bit. Let's start back up. 25mm I think that fan is there, just about fits in. Going to the 12 volts inside the unit, obviously, on the 5 amp, well 0.5 amp it is side. So this is a 30 amp, so it claims, and a 5 amp, sorry, 0.5 amp output. That's my understanding of 12 volts, 2 lots of 12 volts. So the high ampage, the 30 amp I've got going to the RAMPS, and the 0.5 is going to all the LEDs on, sorry about the lighting here, talking about lighting, all the LED strips I have on my printer, and the hot end fan, these LEDs, etc, etc, that works well. So there's an idea of the noise levels. It probably does sound louder on the camera than in real life, and this is without the lid on. When I put the lid on, it does cut down the noise a little bit. I've got this big fan turned off. Let's turn this on. That's more of a filter, carbon filter behind there, and another fan inside. I think it's 120, might be 140 high static pressure fan, blowing air out the back, because there is, let me show you actually, turn this off, let's stop it. So on here is like a HEPA filter. This is off an old vacuum cleaner. I think it was a Vax vacuum cleaner. HEPA filter in there, like one that goes in the wheel. This part of the wheel here, all hot glued in. This fan is hot glued on this box. There's a step up voltage converter there, boost converter from 5 volts, because this is coming off the USB, like wall wart down below. It's not coming off here, it's coming off a separate one. I mean, it could probably be widened to here. I might do that one day, but that would be 12 volts and I wouldn't need it. Might be able to make out that the LED does come on here. I've noticed recently that this display is acting up. You might just make out there that some of the characters aren't 100%. That might be partly because I'm marling. I'm unsure about that. I mean, it works okay. I need a new box printed out for this really. This is just a super glued together bits of cardboard, all chewy and messy, yeah, but it works, so why bother? As I say, plenty of holes in here for ventilation, holes underneath as I showed you for ventilation. So there's a look at what's inside this shoebox.